This was recorded in July of 2025. Get the full recording at modernideasforbusiness.com. See our library of past speakers and information on upcoming speakers. That is modernideasforbusiness.com.
Everyone wants the lowest rate and everything. I get that. But a lot of times pricing in banks can be negotiated. And if you understand how to present yourself, it's going to be to your benefit. And it's going to save you money when you go down and you talk to people at the bank. So how do you present yourself as a reasonable risk? When you go and talk to a banker, well, your financial statement shows strong, consistent, flat cash flow. But what I say here too is that's where it comes into the last part about understanding your own financials. A lot of businesses have one-time expenses or expenses that if there was another owner in the business, it wouldn't be something that they would be paying out. You have the brother-in-law on the payroll. I've had race mechanics, the mechanic from the racing team on the payroll. I've had a lot of different things. And what are they? And tell me what they are. I mean, I will go hunting for them, but I want you to tell me what they are up front as adjustments to cash flow. I can add back in certain things if I can make a case. Help me make that case is what I'm saying. What I haven't mentioned is that my role as a banker, as the relationship manager, as a person on the front line who deals with you is to be your advocate. So help me advocate for you. Highlight the experience of your management team. They've got each person in that position's got 30 years. They've got succession plans. We've got our act together. Clearly identify and value added collateral. What is your AR? What is your inventory? Give me an inventory or AP aging, AR aging, those types of things. I'm handling my trade credit. My AP is current. When you start to deflect my questions or you start to ramble, that's a red flag. I can guarantee, and I think I say in here somewhere, if I spend 2 hours with you and because you just talked the whole time rambling about even to what your mother-in-law does or something like that, I know there's nothing there. And it's the person who is short and concise who has a better chance. A lot of times people don't tell you that, but it shows me you have an understanding. If you're prepared, you're coming in, it's no drama. This is what my financials show I've been doing. This is what I'm going to do. This is where you have some add backs. This is what my collateral is. This is my management resume. If you have something like that prepared, you're going to blow the lender away because they normally don't walk into it. But they're also going to look at you and they're going to be, whoa. And when you have stuff prepared ahead of time like that, they're going to know you're serious, and it's going to shorten the time frame on your processing of your loan request. And it's like I just said, if it takes too long to explain, there's no deal, and that's just years of experience. And that's just kind of repeating what I just said in terms of why do you need it? What is your purpose? What are the ins and outs of the money? If I'm going to buy a new product line, I expect to make X that will help me repay you. If I buy this other business, I will make X amount more to the bottom line. That's going to help me repay you. And there are some things in all these that generally are common, whether it be SBA, whether it be conventional financing, big, small bank. And I have got a list. I just don't have it with me right here in a way to get to you. But if you email me or reach out, we will get you a copy of a basic checklist of the things that you would need to generally walk in. 3 years financial. Now, the 3 years financial, I like CPA prepared. That's for bigger businesses. A small business is going to be 3 years tax returns. Bring all schedules, everything, personal financials. You can generally fill out one personal financial statement, and then the banks will have a statement that says that their bank can check credit and have you sign that. Again, with the personal financials, include your tax returns just up front. Some need, some don't, but that includes K1s. And the more you've been up front, the faster your process goes, the less likely it's going to be held up. Because an underwriter, to make the person on the front line chase this information down, will generally freeze what they're doing and say, I'm not going to move forward until you get this. And it's a way of putting pressure on the RM to get the information. And I don't want to waste time if this person's not going to deliver. All those things go on in the back room. And so if we get everything up front, it's so much easier. The ARA, AP agings, how this is what I want, these are things that are important. Inventory, if you're inventory dependent business. And if you have them, projections are always nice. A statement on what your business does, who your business is. If you have something off a website or something like that, include that. The banker generally has to do a credit request, has to explain who you are, describe the business. Things that can help them do that makes the process go faster. And again, sources and uses is what this is really called, specific use and impacted. What are you going, where do you see the money coming from? Is it some of it from your own pocket? Like say you're going to buy real estate. How much down are you going to pay? How much do you want to borrow? Then it's all going to go to the building owner. But that's a simple. It doesn't have to be complex. It's just talk about it. So there are also some other reasons why I can't get into rate as much because banks will vary. I can kind of give you ideas, general, but I think one of the things that you need to look at is who your banking partner is, because and that is more important than rate. It's not, rates is clearly important, but one of the things a client told me once upon a time, and I remembered this again, breaking down pretty simply, was would you have lunch with the person? Would you have lunch with that person on a regular basis? Can you see yourself talking? And in other words, do you like the person? Do you get along with them? Do you have a rapport? Do you think they're going to be something of value to you? Do you think they're going to add value to your business? Another the questions I would have for a lot of people, a lot of times banks, it doesn't take a license requirement. There's no real obstacles. You have no hoops you have to jump through to become a banker. You just put the title on you and put you out there. Is what kind of experience do they have? Have they worked with businesses in your industry, businesses similar to you? Do they have people who have similar type of credit facilities? Can they give you an example? Not to name names, but can they give you an example of what they've done? And can you tell me, and then beyond that, it's kind of tell me how you can also handle their treasury management or their cash flow needs. Again, do you get the sense that they're going to advocate for you? I've talked about that briefly, but I've got to go to bat with you. When you sell financing, you're selling it in two places. You're selling it to the client and you're selling it to the bank. Do you think and believe that they will sell it to the bank? Again, you don't want to misrepresent stuff. I don't want to create a bad loan, but I do want to represent my client's point of view. How are they mitigating the risks that I have? And the other ones, do they really offer the type of financing you might need in the future? What do they have? Now, one thing that's not on there that I would say is becoming more important is, do they have digital capabilities? The big banks will have an advantage of that. They're investing heavily, but they're all going to be slow. Banks are not going to be a technology leader generally. There have been some, but not that many. But do they have programs? So let's say integrate with your accounting system in terms of transferring information up to it. That's becoming more common. Do they have, what are their online capabilities? If you're going to get into the purchase card, if you're big enough to get into the purchase card or corporate credit cards, do they have the management tools online? And some of the smaller banks will not invest in that. And there are differences between the small banks and the big banks in terms of treasury management. Just things to understand and what your needs are. So you're getting more than just a loan, is what I'm also trying to say. Are you going to get the advisor? Are you going to get the tools you need? Is this something that's a long-term fit? And again, key insights into your financing journey. As you are more prepared, it's going to save you time. You're going to be able to narrow in on where you want to go. And, as a small business owner, I've helped run a small business. I mean, Ed, Dave, Yako are all small business owners. They're all wearing multiple hats during the day. And when you're a small business owner, you're doing everything. You're the bottle washer, the cook, the diaper changer, everything. So by being organized and being prepared up front, you don't have to go back and start chasing things and get interrupted to the tasks that you really were trying to do. That's key. I think it just lowers the stress. It's going to help you get a better price and a better structure, and it's just going to make life easier. So with that, I'm into the part where I ask for any questions anybody might have. I just suggested some topics, and I'll open it up.
Terrific. Thank you, Paul. As always, I am amazed by the depth and breadth of your knowledge. So thank you so much for that. I see Yaku Grobelar has a question. Yaku, why don't you go ahead and come off mute and ask your question?
Thank you. Can you hear me, Paul?
Yeah, I can hear you, Yaku.
Thanks for the presentation. When I saw the topic, I thought, oh, this is a sort of a dry topic, but you have amazed me with the information that you shared. And as a business owner, I'm at the stage where I'm looking at funding growth. So this is very, very real, very specifically of value for me. My question is, I have this thing where I don't really trust banks. And I have a feeling that there are much more fees and costs involved than what I get to see. Is that a feeling, or is that a perception I should let go? Because I feel there's more than just the interest rate. I feel there are a lot of hidden costs, and I would like to know about that.
And that again depends on how big your business is, Yako. As you're a small business, there'll be generalized packages on the deposit side. The deposit side is where a lot of costs can come in, and they start using what they call analyzed statements, which is based on your balances. And that, instead of paying you an interest rate for your deposits, I give you an earning credit, which is I call it the mythical interest rate. And then each service you use is a charge. There's a charge for a deposit, there's a charge for a check, there's a charge for a wire or whatever, and then that's taken against those credits. But that's where you can find there's differences in the banks. If you have the volume, a treasury management person from the bank should be able to take your current volume and tell you what it will cost, so that it's not a surprise. But a lot of people don't ask for it. I volunteer a lot of times, but a lot of people don't ask for it. The reason I volunteer is because I also could go into a kind of an Easter egg hunt and find out, are there things in your business practices that I can improve on that will save you not only money, but time? Can I automate how you're reconciling your, can I provide your reconciling package? Over a period of time, banks have been forced to, by regulation, disclose everything. We just do it anyway. Now, it means you might have to take a moment and read the documents and understand it.
Yeah.
But there generally shouldn't be any surprises.
Find the full presentation as well as presentations on other topics at modernideasforbusiness.com. Join us for future webinars at modernideasforbusiness.com.